We are back with conference preview season. It has been a while since we've done anything. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been even longer since Kyle's been on the podcast. So yeah, how's it going?
Been good. Yeah. Season's right around the corner. Definitely getting yearning for some college basketball for sure. Starting to get into that roster preview time, but no, I've been good. In and out of the college basketball scene. So
Yes, sir. Yeah. College basketball season is basically right around the corner at this point. Only a little bit over a month left until the start of the season. I think the season starts on like November 4th. I I
charity
think that's
exhibition
the
season.
yeah, that's coming up even sooner. But yeah, it's the Conference USA preview. We will be previewing all 31 conferences, not the Pac-12, but we will probably be bumping it up next year back to 32 as it looks like the Pac-12 will be back. That's a conversation for another day, though. But yeah, this year we don't really have any specific order to our conference previews. Last year we did them geographically from west to east. This year we're just kind of going a little more random, just throwing them out there. And yeah, Conference USA, all the rosters are done.
That helps.
Yes, on Jim Root's roster sheet. That's a great $10 purchase, by the
Oh my
way.
gosh, that's gonna be the best $10 I've ever spent.
Yes, I'm not getting paid to say that. It's legitimately a extremely good purchase. But yeah, let's get right into it with the Conference USA, which was an interesting league last year. 15th ranked league in Ken Palm. It definitely took a little bit of a hit, but it also lost like half of its teams.
Yeah, I lost half its teams. It's expected.
So yeah, I think yeah, it was
I
around
think it
what
was
we
even better than I thought it would be losing all those teams. And it was still 15. Like, it kind of,
yeah.
kind of surprising.
Was in the top half of conferences. So yeah, Sam Houston State, they were the regular season champions. Western Kentucky was the team that made March Madness, losing in the first round. But Louisiana Tech was by far the highest ranked team in Ken Palm in the league. So yeah, really was a conference up for grabs. A lot of
Always is.
yes, and I think it'll be that way this year. Just some foreshadowing to our actual preview portion. But yeah, Kennesaw State, welcome to Conference USA. They left the A-Sun this year, and now they are in Conference USA, FBS football. And yeah, following move that Liberty took last year, Kennesaw State, another team that has really um, built a solid basketball program. Obviously, no longer have Amir Abdur-Rahim, but definitely some good talent that they continue to bring in. So good basketball addition to the conference for sure. But yeah, just recapping where the all conference members from last season were. Kiki Tandy transferred to FAU, formerly in the conference, but they are in the American now. Daniel Bacho has returned. He is back at Louisiana Tech. Isaiah Crawford from Louisiana Tech started his pro career. Lamar Wilkerson from Sam Houston State entered the portal but ended up coming back. He is back to lead the Bearcats. And Don McHenry is back at Western Kentucky despite a coaching change there. From the second team, Zach Cleveland is back at Liberty. His front court mate Kyle Rode, although exhausted his eligibility. Justin Porter back at Middle Tennessee, another player who tested out the waters of the portal but decided to return to Middle Tennessee there. Devon Barnes from Sam Houston State transferred to Ole Miss, and Tay Hardy from UTEP exhausts his eligibility. On the third team, Arturo Dean transferred to Oklahoma State. Talik Chavez exhausted his eligibility. Caden Matheny is back at Liberty, another all conference player back for the Flames there. Jared Coleman Jones, he transferred to San Diego State from Middle Tennessee State. And Femi Odukale from New Mexico State is back to the high major world as he transferred to Minnesota. So a solid amount of returning players. Considering what you get in some of these leagues, but
The
definitely
Horizon's really bad. I think they lost literally every single one of their like it's a crazy, but we'll get to that.
I will say not to get off on the Horizon note, but I was looking through the Horizon rosters and like every team killed the portal.
Oh, that's good at least.
I will say that from my early judgments. But yeah, on Conference USA, one new coach in the league, as I alluded to earlier, Hank Plona. He takes over at Western Kentucky for Steve Lutz. Lutz was at Western Kentucky for 1 year, made a tournament, and went off to Oklahoma State. Um, so yeah, I mean, internal promotion kept McHenry. Got that JUCO connection. I believe Plona was McHenry's coach at Indian Hills. So no surprise that McHenry did not opt to go to Oklahoma State, even though he probably could have. I mean, he definitely could have, as Brandon Newman, who McHenry was clearly better in last year, followed him to Oklahoma State. So yeah, that was last year, but why don't we get into what we think the all conference teams will look like this year? Starting with the player of the year, I'll let you go first. Who will win the Conference USA Player of the Year in 2024-25?
This will be an interesting one. Newcomer in the league, senior, from the Division II ranks, Talon Peter from Liberty. Liberty has all these. They've brought in weapons from JUCO, from D2. They've got
Yes.
returners. They got, guys that are grads that are coming back. I have to say this is probably the most intriguing Liberty roster in quite some time. I just got to see all these guys. Like, I was watching film of
Mhm.
Peter today, and he is incredible. I don't know who's gonna be the number one. I
Yeah.
hope it's him, but I
They
don't know.
have,
Um,
there's so many ways they
Kind
can
of
go
playing a bit
there.
of roulette here, hoping he's the number one guy. He's 6'6", really strong, can shoot, really
Hmm.
good athlete, can finish around the rim. He does a lot of things well, and I think he's also going to be a really good defender for them eventually. Well, he is a senior, but as the year goes on, I guess.
Yes.
So he's my pick.
Yes, Liberty is definitely a very intriguing team. They have a lot of question marks, not exactly question marks as to will these guys be good, but question marks as to how the starting lineup, how the roster will look like. And yeah, definitely not someone that really was on my radar for player of the year. Um, but yeah, I think I could see a scenario where that happens. If he is the guy and Liberty is really good. I went a little more probably what more people would have with Daniel Bacho from Louisiana Tech. Dominant big man. And while I say that, I also had him as my defensive player of the year. Really, really solid big man inside. I
Love
really
that.
liked him at Texas Tech.
I was a big fan of him there too. Yeah.
Yes. So can't really have too many complaints about him. And I think part of that is Louisiana Tech, I think, is also one of the strongest teams in the conference. So yeah, conference standing. If they finish first and Bacho's really good, then it would be hard to not pick him as player of the year. We will see though. Freshman of the year, Conference USA. I mean, it's obviously year by year thing, but last year was not an especially strong class for freshmen. I believe the freshman of the year was David Terrell for UTEP, who was I mean, he was fine for a freshman, but definitely not on the caliber as freshman of the year in other conferences, which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Like it speaks to that the conference had a lot of old
This is a
guys,
conference that
but
relies on the transfer portal. This
yeah,
is a conference that has trouble recruiting, in a lot of ways. Um, they're going to be getting a lot of the roster, at least 40 to 50% usually from the transfer portal. So that's going to be a big thing. Kennesaw does a lot of good recruiting. I'll give them
yes,
that. They have a really good foundation in place for the future. But these other
yes.
teams, they like to do it through the portal. So it's just,
Hmm.
and that does hurt. We don't have a lot of freshmen outside of Kennesaw in this conference, but
Yeah. So
they're
who was
building
your
something.
who was your pick for freshman of the year?
Well, Cotton was a redshirt freshman when I looked at it.
I
I don't think
yeah.
that's true because he played at VMI for like
And he
20.
wasn't, I don't think he was like her. He just like left because like no one wants to be
Right.
at
This isn't
BMI,
college
which is
football where you can
understandable.
do that, but I guess I just wanted to talk about the Kennesaw freshmen, so which I did. So I don't know.
Yes.
I kind of left that blank,
All
admittedly.
right. Well, I did have a Kennesaw freshman in Braden Liu. Yeah, Kennesaw looks like they'll have a lot of minutes off the bench, maybe a starting lineup spot for some of these guys. So yeah, again, I'm not huge on. I haven't done my research on a lot of freshmen overall in college basketball. More focused on the people who have actually
Yeah,
played so far. But yeah, Lou definitely looks promising. So that's who I went with there. Be getting into our all conference teams. Let's see. First team All Star. I have Zadi Jackson from New Mexico State. Really lit it up in D2 at West Georgia, who is now D1, by the way.
I'm about to say,
So
I thought they were. Yeah,
yes,
no, they're
indeed they
really good.
are. He averaged like 20 points, 5 assists,
Watch his film. He is very good.
efficient. Yes. Yeah. They were a really good D2 team too. So like he was first team All American D2. Um yeah, New Mexico State. I think they're kind of have gonna be in a resurgence year, have a lot of
They're
intriguing
gonna be good.
pieces.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'd like Jackson to lead the charge there. Was he
and
was he on
great.
your first team then?
Yep. Even got some player of the year consideration for
Yes.
me, possibly, but with Bacho and Peter being my lead too. But yeah, Exali, and then I think as our two, Lamar Wilkerson.
Yes, I had him on my first team as well.
Same.
Was on the first team last year, and yeah, Sam Houston State like kind of flew under the radar, but
They
they went
did
like
last year, but
13-3 in conference play. So Wilkerson coming back can't really put him anywhere else,
they're the
especially
safe
if
team. They're gonna be good
yes.
no matter what. They're gonna be in the
Hmm.
upper echelon of the conference. They play tremendous defense.
Yes.
Yeah, they're gonna be tough. There's no way around it, and he is the identity of that team.
And we are back. We had a short technical difficulty there. My AirPods died, but luckily AirPods charged super fast. So we were
Yeah,
back
no
talking.
problem.
Yes, talking about Lamar Wilkerson. Yeah, first team guy and a very good Sam Houston team. I also had Don McHenry on my first team. He was first team last year. Should be in a little bit bigger role. A little bit less around him
They get
because,
Murdoch's back, but
but yes, they do. But
chill.
he will be the go-to guy. Yeah, he'll be the go-to guy there. Was really successful coming out of JUCO and first team last year. No reason not to put him on this year. So then I think you don't have any first team guys left, do you?
No,
Okay,
Bacho,
so then,
obviously, in the mix.
yes. So then, yeah, I had Zach Cleveland for Liberty as my final guy. Different Liberty guy there, but overall very similar first teams. Cleveland really had a breakout year last year. Does a little bit of everything. I don't believe he's much of a shooter, if I recall, but good passer for a big man. Very skilled.
He's good
Um,
in the post.
yes. Not nice contrast. Now Liberty has some like athletic bigs this year, so I think having him gives a nice contrast that kind of gives him a little bit of everything when you add all the players together. But yeah, second team. Who do you have on your second team?
So, first member, I got Georgia Tech transfer Amari Abram from Louisiana
I
Tech.
I
Um,
had him as well.
I think he's in for a big season. We both loved him at Ole Miss in limited minutes.
I don't know what happened at
This happens in
Georgia.
college basketball, where coaching change, you don't get a ton of opportunities. And then, you go over to Georgia Tech and just not, I mean, was he hurt, right?
I don't know because like looking at his game logs from last year, he started the first 4 games of the season, didn't really do much in those games, but then like kind of like played like every so often after that. Like didn't play last month, but played like some random games. So like I don't know if he was hurt, just maybe like trying to play through something, but
The best
like
move for him was to move down a level where he's going to
yes.
get consistent time, where, he won't be on the bench or anything like that because that can happen when you're on the bench, getting consistent run, getting your rhythm. But I think he's a really good player for this level. He's really quick off the dribble, really good from the mid range, really good driving to the rim. I think he's a really good player. He's going to be their go-to guard, I think. So
Yes. Yeah. Don't know what happened, but I was really in on them last year. I'm not changing that just because of like some weird season, whatever that was. But
right.
yes, I had him in my second team. I also had Simeon Cottle for Kennesaw State. Newcomer in the conference, had a really big year at Kennesaw, breaking out after they lost some of those guards like Chris Youngblood. Yeah, he
I
is a
have as
guy.
well. Yep.
He's a guy I really like and should be one of the top scorers in the conference. Yes. I have him there. Who is another member of your second team?
I had Caden Matheny from Liberty.
Okay. I had him third.
Get a good bulk of the scoring touches. He's great cutter, great shooter, um, really quick. Should be a double-digit guy, so put him
Y-
there.
Yes. 5'10" shooting guards aren't like the most intriguing, but like
Right.
Matheny is like still like really good. Like Liberty like always has like the past few years they've always had like really short guys, but like they're so good you have to play them.
And
Matheny
I
can
think in
really.
the recruiting this year, McKay's actually started to move away from that, which is what I like. He's got the 6'6"
Yes,
forward, the
yes,
6'8" guy from JUCO. These are guys that are
yes,
good off the dribble too. Because that's the direction the game is going. It's been good
yeah.
that, McGee obviously more than worked out. Colin
Mm-hmm.
Porter, you got Matheny. It's all good and dandy, but those guys are going to be attacked on defense. You got to have guys that are like 6'2", 6'3" at the very least, around that size that can at least hold their own on defense that aren't getting targeted. And you can still have great offenses with a guy like that too. So, I mean, I think it's just about finding that balance. You can't have like, even this year, like, are they going to run Porter and Matheny a ton? I hope not. Um,
Probably,
we'll
maybe
see. I mean, I think you kind of want to split their minutes a little bit, but we're going to see
a
how that
little
plays
bit.
out.
Yeah,
They
but
have
like with
10
Matheny's,
guys
yeah,
to play. So
yes, it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But yeah, Matheny's good. Really can shoot, can score from inside
I love him.
decently as well. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I am third team. I had Devon Barnes from UTEP, not to be confused with the Devon Barnes who left the conference from Sam Houston State, but
That's right. So
transferring in from Tarleton State, I really liked him at Tarleton. Was a huge piece of why they really were good. Had some big scoring games, efficient score, can
should be the
shoot
new
from.
Tay Hardy for them.
Yes, yes, that's absolutely my thought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He can
can do
really
a little bit
defend
of
too, I would
everything.
assume. So
Yes,
just
it's
from being
really
Tarleton.
really consistent score, and yeah, should probably be the main point of UTEP's offense.
Mhm. The reason I had him third team, and honestly, I see probably Matheny and Barnes are very interchangeable. I just don't love Golding as an offensive coach. Like I think
That's
he's probably going to be inefficient. He is going to get average probably around the 12 to 14 points per game range, but and then again, I don't think UTEP's going to be very good. So that's
yes,
also part of it. So I had
yeah,
him on the team, but I had Justin
yeah,
Porter from Middle Tennessee on my second team. I went with the
okay,
four guards, one forward setup. Um,
yes.
I think Porter, didn't he miss last year? Was he
No,
there?
that was Cameron Weston who
That
missed.
was Weston. I always get them
I
confused.
actually had Weston on my second team instead. I think him
Okay.
coming back's going to be big as long as he's fully healthy, which like his injury was at the very start of last year, so I would assume he would be about 100% by now. So yeah, I had Weston there,
Yeah.
but
We'll just see how he is when he comes back. But Justin did a really respectable job when he was out.
hmm
He didn't have a lot of help, but he definitely held it down. Was their best
yeah,
player for sure.
had some big scoring games.
For sure. He can score the rock. So he
Yes.
was my pick on second team. Then I have Cleveland second team. So
All right. My last guy was another Liberty guy, Owen Aquino, coming in from the JUCO ranks. I believe he is from Eastern Florida State. Yeah, he Eastern Florida State. Really filled up the stat sheet there. Scored, rebounded, has some decent passing skills for his size. We'll see how those translate over to D1, but yeah, his athleticism should be something that can really impact the conference. I think he will start top 10 JUCO prospect, and yeah, I
I
think
think he could be a
Liberty.
four, honestly.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean,
the thing is, though, like I think there's a world where they start Josh Smith too. Like I don't know how that's
yeah,
gonna
we'll
work.
see how that works out. We can talk more
Josh
about
Smith is
that
a very
later, but.
efficient player, and yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so that was all your second team,
Yeah,
correct? Okay, moving to my third team, I have Jawatuka from Jacksonville State. Really had a rough few seasons at Wake Forest. Was never really healthy. Probably was never really a high major player either with how he plays. But his first year at Marist, he was really good. One of the best freshmen in the country, honestly.
it was
Could
great.
really get to the rim and score. And I think he will be doing that a lot for Jacksonville State this year.
Yeah, I mean, with Tandy leaving, the opportunity is there for him. I think it was an obvious all-conference pick just because, that scoring spot is there. I don't hate Jacksonville State this year. They always seem to overperform too. Like last year, I had them bottom of the conference and they beat Liberty twice. They really competed with everybody. So they were surprising last year. I don't know if they can replicate that again, but I think Atuka is going to be a bright spot for them for sure.
Yes, he's definitely who's going the person that's going to elevate them if they end up surprising some people because
Mhm.
yeah, he really got to the rim at Marist, really got to the
In the
line,
mid-range
scored
too.
from there.
Mhm.
Yes, not a huge shooter, but we'll
Nothing
see
from
if
outside the mid-range.
yes, but we'll see because we haven't seen him play in like
Right.
2 years. Maybe he's a
Probably
shooter
worked on his
now.
jumper a lot, getting healthy.
Yeah. Yes. Another guy I had is Brennan Burns from Sam Houston State. A lot of good D2 transfers in this conference. Burns is one of them. Who kind of takes over at Sam Houston State. Had a lot of assists last year. Will probably be the starting point guard, but yeah, also was able to score. And yeah, I really like this Sam Houston team. So I think that if they're good, he's a starting point guard. I think he's gonna really open up the offense. So I had
Yeah, his
him third
numbers were
team.
very appealing. I didn't know much about him, but I'm like, if Austin has him on an all-conference team, I won't be shocked.
Yep.
So, he's definitely going to be starting, it looked like. We just got to see how he translates. Probably a really hard-nosed point guard from what I can know about Sam
Mm-hmm.
Houston's culture. So, but I have Atuka, I have Barnes, and then my third guard is Deontay Bostic from New Mexico State.
Okay.
Cal
Okay. I
State
actually
recruit
had I
transfer.
actually had Christian Cook
Okay.
from New Mexico State, who really played good towards the end of last year. Former D2 player, a lot of D2 players in this conference. We still have
Mhm.
some that we're going to talk about later that we haven't even touched on that are really good. But yeah, um, Cook really came on strong towards the end of last year. So I had him. Yeah. And
And then my
then
forward, I have Otis Frazier the third from UTEP. He's back
okay.
again. Very solid, great defensively, good on the glass, very solid player. You know what you're gonna get from him.
Yes. My last player in my all conference teams is Isam Mustafa from Middle Tennessee State. He's a really dominant rebounder, and I mean he wasn't that good at TCU, but like I think in Conference USA, I think this is where you can really
He's
see
someone I
him.
really used to like. As a
Yeah.
post scorer, he's really talented, like around the rim, but he just doesn't have like He's not good anywhere mid-range. Like, if you push him out of the post, he's completely useless. And he's not good defensively. So,
Yeah, I don't really think he ever should have gone to TCU, but when he
no,
played, I mean, he was still a dominant rebounder, and that's kind
he
of
can rebound.
that I mean that is his strong suit. Really good on offensive, defensive rebounding, just a monster on the glass. And I think
I
if he does
wanted to
enough
put him
there,
on here just because, I used to like him, but I got to see it with Middle Tennessee and
yeah,
where he fits. I don't know. McDevitt's not a really great offensive coach either, so kind of want to see how he's utilized in an offense. So I Bobby Carfe from Western Kentucky.
okay,
Very solid, good on defense, good on the glass. Averaged
yes.
around like 8 a game last year or something like that. So yeah, he should be really solid. Not a ton of good bigs in this conference outside of Pacho. So
Yeah, definitely guard heavy on all conference teams, but moving to the all freshman team, I'll just list my guys off. Not again, I don't know a ton about freshmen in general, but I have Landon Blocker, the brother of Layden Blocker, actually. He's at
hmm,
Louisiana Tech. I wanted Layden Blocker to go to Louisiana Tech this offseason.
that
But
would
I
have been
also I
pretty
also
good.
kind of like DePaul. Like it's a fun team.
Sure.
But so that's fine with me. But yeah, Blocker had a bunch of high major offers. They might have cooled down on him. Again, I'm not really super familiar with him, but think he can definitely play an impactful role for Louisiana Tech, a team that we both like. Kennesaw State, I had a few guys had Adrian Woolley and Braden Liu. Liu, as I mentioned, my freshman of the year, and I also had two redshirt freshmen, one of them being Curtis Blair, the third from Liberty, could be in the mix with all of Liberty's all of their talent they have. And then I also had Babakar and Benge for UTEP redshirt freshman. Speaking about DePaul, he was formerly committed to DePaul back in high school. I don't think he was a four-star recruit, but he was like kind of close in that three-star range. So, um, yeah, could be their guy at center this year for the Miners. So, did you even come up with a freshman team
Nah,
or
yeah. What I said earlier about it.
yes?
Interesting conference when it comes to the freshmen. But again, Kennesaw's freshmen should 100% get some run. So, yeah.
Yes. So moving to our top 10 transfers, definitely some solid transfers in the conference. Most of the top ones who we've already touched in our all conference teams, but I'm assuming you had Talon Peter at first. So I had Zodie Jackson there. Um, so let's see.
I have
So
Zaldi at 2.
okay, so it's two I had Devin Barnes, then and then so who did you have at three?
3 at Abram.
Okay, I had Abram at three. At four, I had Utuka.
4 at Bostic.
Okay. And then five, I have Brennan Burns.
5 at Atuka.
All right. Six, haven't talked about this guy yet. I have Peter Filipovity from New Mexico State. Have been a big Peter Filipovity guy for years.
I wonder what
So
his role is going to be on this team.
I
That's
don't
what
know,
I'm kind of
but
a
he
little
is
concerned about. He's on my list, though.
so skilled offensively. He had a huge year for Maine. Really
It,
just he was
and the
so
Connies are awesome.
yes. Phil Poverty is the offensive guy. Tynes is good defensively, but yeah,
Mhm.
he really just like he was so efficient. Really good on the glass, and yeah, skilled scorer. It'll be interesting to see how this works out. But yeah, I'm a big Phil Poverty guy. Think he can play a
He's 8 on my list. Yeah.
yes.
So I have Atuka at 5 and then Barnes at 6.
Okay. Seven, another D2 guy, it's Sean Elkington from Louisiana Tech I believe he's coming from St. Edwards. Put up some big numbers there. I think he will maybe start in the front court next to Bacho, maybe
Is that
be
a
that
good
spark.
program? I've never.
I think so. Let me I believe I looked him
You are the
up
D2
and
expert. I hate to fact check you like that, but I just want to learn more about D2. That's why I'm asking. I know
yes.
a good amount of the good programs, but I mean some
Yeah.
of them,
Yes,
not all.
a lot of D2 guys I judge based on how good their team was. They were 21 and 11, so pretty solid.
True. That's a
Um
good way to do it in D2. Yeah.
so yeah, Elkinson, not sure how his role will be with Bacho as sort of a big guy, but he's only 6'8", so
They do
can
need
also
fours, so
yes,
I don't
so
know.
he definitely could start there. And yeah, put up some big numbers there, average like
I like
17 a
that.
game, 7.5 rebounds. Yeah, I think he could be a good offensive piece there next to Bacho. So yeah, that was 7 for me.
Yeah, at 7. I think Middle Tennessee did have a really underrated transfer class. Jalen Counter from
Yes.
IUPUI, I have at 7.
Okay. Okay.
Um, yeah,
And
I
then
think he will do pretty well in Middle Tennessee.
yeah, he's a guy that
Still a top league.
I like despite like how bad IUPUI was. Like I
Right.
think Counter's still kind of good. 8 I had Mustafa though. 9 is where I had Talon Peter, and then let's see, who do you have at 9 then?
9, I had Brendan Burns.
All
10, I
right.
had Alec Oglesby. I think he's really
Okay.
underrated.
Can really
Great,
shoot.
great shooter. I mean, he
Really,
could not miss in
yes.
the Atlantic Sun tournament.
Really good off ball shooter that will
Yeah,
definitely can play a role at any type of program like this. But yeah,
we're all
10
Middle Tennessee.
I had Deontay Bostic, so
Okay.
who we already touched on. So yeah, those are all of our wait, breakout players.
Oh yeah, I have some good names here. Okay.
Yes. So I almost skipped past. I actually did skip past when I back with this. And yeah, one guy had is Enoch Callambay for Western Kentucky. Think teammate of McHenry at JUCO, and I think he's a guy that can maybe step up in a bigger role. No more Newman there, so
Yeah, it's
maybe
true.
he's a guy that could benefit there.
Burks has been out for a while, so
Yes,
I mean, hopefully he's still fine, which I think he
yes,
will be, but there's gonna be
mm-hmm.
opportunities for other guards. Let's see, breakout list. I had a couple Kennesaw guys. I had KJ Johnson first. I'm RJ Johnson.
RJ John. Yes,
Yeah,
I had
six
him
four
as well.
sophomore. 16 a game last year. I mean, 16 minutes a game,
Yeah,
7 points per game. Pretty efficient, 45% shooting.
mm-hmm.
Honestly, just went right off the roster sheet on this. Like this guy, sophomore underclassman, a lot of
Former
turnover.
Alabama commit too back in the day. So
He Petaway is their head coach.
yes,
So
that
makes
is
sense,
likely
right?
why. Yes.
Yeah, I think he's in for a big role next to Cottle
Mm-hmm.
and other guys. Ricardo Wright's another guy who'll contribute for them as well. So
Yes. Yeah, right is a guy I had close to my transfer list, not quite there, but yes. Another breakout guy I had is Marcus Boykin from Sam Houston State. He could start at point guard over Burns, not sure exactly how it's going to be. He was another guy that came from D2 last year. Not quite as good as I thought he was going to be over the course of the season, but really started to be a little bit more impactful down the stretch. And if that continues, he could be a really nice scoring, passing, um, combo,
yeah, I wonder what they go
really
with.
score.
They bring in Burns. Maybe they're like, oh, he's a really accomplished player at that level. Maybe we throw him to the starting role, or they build off the momentum that Boykin kind of ended the season with and give him the starting role. So like that, we'll see how that goes, I guess. So yeah. Let's see. Well, I had Deshaun Gittens from FIU. Someone's got to break out.
Yeah, I
Really bad
just
team. Gittens, and it's a team full of upperclassmen, weirdly enough.
yeah,
Gittens is a junior. He averages 8 to 9 a game last year. I feel like someone's got to eclipse double digits. I think he could go to like 12 to
someone
15 a game. And
someone's gotta. But like I was looking at FIU's roster, like trying to like find a breakout player, and I'm just like. I I don't
And they're all like
really.
seniors, I think. So like I don't want to, and they're not good seniors.
Yeah, it's
That
tough.
coach is getting a hot seat, man. I've kind of seen enough.
Yes, I agree
They're
with
an
that.
A team. I've watched them a lot. Trust me.
Hmm. But yeah, David Trill, freshman year last year is a guy I had. Think he can definitely build off last season and in his sophomore year break out even more. Yeah, obviously UTEP lost some guards, so definitely a candidate to break out. And my last guy was Mason Nicholson from Jacksonville State. Definitely a guy that showed a lot of promise last year. So I think he's another key if Jacksonville State can kind of make that jump up from the bottom tier.
My
Um,
last guy had another Kennesaw guy, Franquan Sherman, 6'7" sophomore.
okay,
I think he can help out at the 3 or the 4, wherever they want to put him. They have Ronji Gordon as well, 6'8" grad. But Sherman
yeah,
put up 5 points a game, 15 minutes a game, solid efficiency, 51% from the field. So I always like good size. He seems to be have some guard skills here. He shoots some threes, 31%. It's actually like the third highest mark on the team. So yeah, I think he's definitely going to be in for a possible starting slash six-man role. So yeah.
yes. So yeah, Kennesaw State that gives those are all your breakout players, right?
Yeah.
So that gives us a good segue because now we're
I have
going.
Elijah Jones from UTEP.
Okay, yeah,
That's another
I
one.
I I can get with that for sure. But yeah, moving into our individual team previews, going from worst to best last year in terms of conference standings, but we will start with Kennesaw State as the newcomer in the league. So, Kyle, where do you have the Owls ranked in the Conference USA?
I have them 9 out of 10.
Okay, I have them eighth, so pretty similar thought there.
I could have had
Yeah,
them up. Yeah, no, I definitely could have, but
I think
I just got to see how this works. Defensively, they were so bad last year. I just have
yeah,
to see some improvement there. I think I will say this about UTEP. They do have an identity. That's the defensive side of the ball. They are going to grind you out. Kennesaw doesn't really have an identity yet. They have a lot of good recruits. They can score the rock, but you can't be giving up
they play fast.
85 to 90 a game. Like
They played
they really
really fast last year.
yes.
Kind of taking at Alabama.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but they
just don't know
weren't.
how that's going to work in a conference where it's really slow. This is actually a very slow conference. Liberty
Yes, it
plays slow,
is.
Sam Houston plays slow, Louisiana Tech plays slow, and they all play slow. So they're like the team that, and FIU tries to play fast too, and they fail
Yeah,
miserably.
they're yeah.
But tempo wise,
Western Kentucky is fast though.
that's true. They do play
But
fast too.
yeah, a
Um,
lot of slow teams in the conference.
For sure, I'd say like 7 out of the 10, I would say are
Pretty
pretty
much.
slow.
Pretty much.
They just need to at least become average defensively. And then maybe
They
they'll
were bad
improve.
defensively last year.
Yes.
And
I
like
watched a couple games to play up lines.
I don't hate the team, but
I don't
like
either.
they weren't that good last year and they lost Burden and Robinson who were
And I don't
both
know if this guy Pettingway can really coach. I'm just going to be honest.
the jury's still out on that. Not a great first
Definitely.
year, but
Um,
we'll see. Cottle's really good.
yes.
Ricardo Wright, I mean, can definitely score.
It's a good
Played
backcourt. They
some,
got some good size this year for once. Kennesaw is usually rocking with a small team. They're a little
yeah,
bit
I
different
mean,
this year. Andre Weir is going to be
got
good.
Andre Weir
I like Andre
definitely.
Weir.
He's pretty
Um,
solid,
going
but
last, he's a good rim protector. But we'll
they
see.
they need some of these freshmen to really be good, and they have a
Yeah,
lot of them. That's a
yeah.
good thing.
And with house money there.
Yeah, Chase Clemens, another guy, did not play last year, but he could be a name to watch out for. I think he was like committed to Nebraska way back
Interesting.
when. So maybe he sees something in his redshirt freshman season. RJ Johnson, yeah, another former high major guy that we both had breaking out. Um, Yeah, I mean, I think the program's in decent shape for the future
It
with all
is. You
all
know,
their young
rebuilds
talent.
in the transfer portal, everyone thinks a rebuild is going to be done in 1 to 2 years. That's not always the case, especially at a level where you're in a competitive conference, you don't have a lot of money. Rebuilds, people have to be patient. A lot of these programs jump the gun on coaches because, they don't have results in 1 to 2 years. In Kennesaw's case, I think we're going to see results probably in a good 3 to 4 years when these freshmen develop and are juniors. You'll start to see something. They'll bring in some good transfers along with them, and then you'll start to see results. But they do have to be patient, and the jury has to definitely wait on Petaway, in my opinion. So
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, the last place team in the conference last year was FIU. I have them 10th, and it's
they're
not
back.
particularly
Relax.
close.
It's not even close.
They were not good last year, and they lost Arturo Dean, who was like their only guy that was pretty good. They
And
brought in
even
Juke.
Dean was really disappointing offensively. I thought he'd have a much bigger year.
Yeah, he's
But it's not
definitely
his fault, even
not
really.
great offensively. Really good defensively though. Really puts the pressure on. Gets a lot of
He
steals.
was good next to Denver Jones 2 years ago when he had a good backcourt mate. But then when he was the man by himself, I guess he's just not that kind of number one option kind of guy, which is fine.
Yes.
And it's tough on a bad team when you have no one else really helping you or contributing.
Yes. I will say FIU is a program that really leaned into the JUCO ranks. Not so much of a huge transfer program, but
No.
definitely bringing those JUCO guys. Asim Jones is a top 50 junior college player looking to take Dean's role at point guard. I think he has to be really good.
Yeah.
I mean, like I just don't know like who's gonna. I don't know.
There were some
Like,
other rosters I would look at in different conferences that went this route and just I think UT Martin's another team that literally has an
yeah,
entire team of JUCOs that they're just swinging for the fences and hoping something comes of it. So I guess that's a route
yeah,
teams are taking now. So
yeah. Definitely not thrilled with any of the returners. I mean, they have a few like solid guys, but yeah, again, like these guys are all like kind of old and haven't done anything too significant. So yeah, that's enough talk about FIU. We'll see though. Yeah, like a lot of junior college players. That's like if they're gonna find a way to be competitive, I think it'll be through Asim Jones. They have
mm,
some they have some
I
good
did
shot
notice that.
blockers coming over from JUCO,
Yeah, I mean, you
which
remember what's his name from a year or two ago, the Sonogo dude that was so athletic.
yeah, he
Um,
just entered a portal and no one took him. So,
but they
or
seem to like those
yeah,
freak athletes on
they have
tap.
like they always have like too many big men.
Yeah, it always seems to be a thing.
I don't. Yeah. Anyway, next team up, Jacksonville State. I have them ninth.
Interesting. I think I had them seven. Yeah, I had them.
Okay. Okay. I mean,
I'll say this, 7 through 9 are really close. I think you're really splitting hairs with those three, but
okay. I
they do
can
tend to overperform Jacksonville State. I had them last year, so I'm giving them the benefit
yes.
of the doubt.
They do overperform typically, but I'm not really thrilled on besides Ituka, and I also like Nicholson, as I mentioned. I'm not really thrilled with anyone in this roster. Definitely an
It's weird.
interesting group of transfers.
Jamar
Just to go,
Franklin's been really disappointing at his time at South Alabama. He
yeah,
was
Georgia
not very,
Southern last year.
yeah, very disappointing.
But Jerron Pierre Jr. just like randomly resurfaced, like
Yeah, what the
committed to like
hell
a
is
few places last year, never played anywhere. Was apparently on Grambling State, but like wasn't actually on the team. I don't know. He was like he could definitely score the ball, not efficient, but
the
definitely
typical
someone.
slack guard, right?
Yeah, Marcus
Um,
Fitzgerald. Another guy
Biden
that's
seems intriguing. I mean,
he
6'6".
is he is.
Um,
He had some
he's
big
young.
games VMI before he left the team midway through the season. Um, that's just a VMI thing.
That's
So
true. I can't even really get that mad at him. That
no,
that that's
he
unreal.
had some stock and just like dipped. But he also got like Yaroslav Niagu, former USC Charlotte. I don't know. Michael Hogue was decent at St. Peter's. Ben Biella from EC. I don't know. It's just like an interesting group of transfers. No one I really think is that good besides Tuca, and even Tuca hasn't played really in 2 years. So
You're gambling on a
he's
lot with them.
yeah, they're probably going to be like a little bit better than you think they should be, but I don't think there's enough
No.
here to really do much. Nicholson, no, like I do really think he will be impactful. Only played like 15 minutes a game last year, but averaged like 6 points, was efficient. 1.3 blocks in under 15 minutes game, which is definitely noteworthy there. So we will see. I wonder if he had foul trouble though last year. I will check that. It seems like a possibility. Yeah, it wasn't as bad as I've seen, but yeah, I don't know. And any other thoughts on the Gamecocks? So next, moving on to New Mexico State. Interesting first year under Jason Newton. Not the best, but I think they're going to be pretty good this year. I have them sitting at fourth.
I have them sitting at 4 as well.
All right, there we go. Agreed on that. And yeah, as we mentioned, Zadie Jackson is going to be really good.
Yeah.
Um, we touched on him, but him alone just elevates his team a lot. Bostic also averaged over 15 points per game on a Cal State Northridge team that really had a big resurgence.
Mhm.
Really was pretty good. Christian Cook back, Robert Carpenter back. Robert Carpenter didn't he like punch a guy in the middle of a game last
I'm
year?
about to say, I know stuff about
Robert
him.
Carpenter, how is Robert Carpenter still in college? He's been like everywhere.
I
I think
know.
he was at like
You know,
he's been at like St. Bonaventure. I don't know if I think he was on like Kent State. He was on Mississippi Valley State. He was at JUCO. But he's not that bad. He's definitely a skilled shot creator, but I don't really like I don't not yeah. He did punch a guy that still happened. They got the Shimanga brothers, Emmanuel Shimanga from UC San Diego and Nate Shimanga from Utah Valley, two big men who will do the normal things big men do. Philip Poverty also, as I mentioned, one guy I do really like Carl Cherenfont
mm,
coming from Memphis, had a really disappointing season at Memphis, but and that's Memphis, so whatever. But like, I think he could be pretty good. Like, I was really high in him last year at Memphis. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if he like is all conference.
okay. He's someone I'll keep an eye on. I saw he's from Memphis. I was like, it's a penny refill. I'm
Yeah.
like, uh-oh.
Also
But
got another big man transfer, Edward Nanamico from Georgia State. Yeah, they're interesting group of big men. Like no one, neither of those three are that good, but they're all like do the typical big man things, and between the three of them should be enough to play 40 minutes.
for sure.
So yeah, I definitely like this team to really bounce back.
They could finish anywhere from 1 to 4. 1 to 4 are all close. Like, I wouldn't be
One to
surprised.
six are close, and but
Right,
like they could
honestly.
win, they could get six. A lot of newcomers, so you don't know how this roster is gonna fit together, but best case scenario, they win the league. Yeah, we'll see. I'm really looking forward to watching Jackson play though.
For sure. No, he's going to be a
Oh,
guy that I want to watch.
that is gonna be something to really see. Um, next team next team up, Middle Tennessee. They had a really disappointing year last year after losing Weston after 2 games. Um, but I had them at fifth this year.
I have them 6.
Okay.
I 5 and 6. I could have flip
Another
flop.
team that like it wouldn't be the craziest thing ever if they won the league.
Yeah, they have the talent. That's not the problem. I think the coach is the problem. I'm not a big Nick McDevitt guy. I think
Yeah.
offensively they're a really tough watch. They take a lot of bad shots. Defensively, they're just a really sloppy team. I think that's the best way to put it. It took a lot, turn the ball over a lot.
Last year was tough. I don't really know what I think about McDevitt yet because like he was like bad his first few seasons at Middle Tennessee, and they had like two like really good years. And
Right.
last year was bad, but I'm all like because of losing Weston, like I'm almost kind of inclined to just like scrap that if like he's good this year, but if he's not, then maybe they should.
He just has a style
Yeah,
and he needs to have his players that play that style, that, the up and down game, guys that play really fast. He never has good shooting teams either, which I don't like. This year he's
yeah.
Alec Oglesby, which hopefully can change things. Good
He
off ball
might be
player.
he might be like the only good shooter on their
That's that's the thing. Of
roster.
course, he's the only one, but um,
Yeah.
that's the thing about Nick McDevitt teams. I wish he would go out and get more shooting, but it's
Justin
just
Porter can shoot. He just doesn't
yeah, they're
isn't
just
super
none of those guards
efficient.
are the most efficient from three.
It's an interesting transfer class, though. Counter, as you mentioned,
Yeah,
really you really like his shot
a lot of shot
creation.
creators. I can get behind.
Mustafa's obviously like a solid big man in the conference. So regardless what you think, really, I mean, really good rebounder. That's what his style is. Oglesby can really shoot it. Kamari Lange, what do we think about? What are your thoughts on Kamari
He's
Lange?
all right. I mean, he is what he is at this point.
He was bad at Arizona State.
I mean, I wonder how that was going to end up.
Going from Kenny Payne to Bobby
Louisville.
Hurley is something, but like Land is so should be so elite defensively in this league. I will say that. Like, I
Yeah,
I
he fits
I,
right
I
in
don't
with the
think he's
defensive identity of the Conference USA. So,
yeah, like he's an athlete. He's good defensively. Like I think his offensive game is just done for at this point, but
yeah,
like he should be impactful, just like making plays, like making hustle plays, stuff like that. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Justin Porter fits in with like all these new guys.
yeah,
Someone might be left out. Chris Loof, rising sophomore, they brought in good shot blocker. Jared Hall, transfer from Tulsa, 3 years left. Intriguing there. Um, Definitely an interesting team. Justin Buffer returns. Yeah, like I could see this team being good. I think it's a big prove a year for McDevitt.
yeah, definitely. They disappoint if they come in like fifth or sixth, like we're thinking. There's going to be some pressure,
Yes.
for
It
sure.
depends because I think like they can be like fifth or sixth and be like
I
two
guess
games out of. Well, we'll see.
it's true. Depends
How
how.
it looks. That yeah, fifth place finish could go like completely different ways based on just like the context. But yeah, next team up is going to be UTEP. I have UTEP seventh. Um,
I had them eight. Yeah.
yes. I mean, yeah, it's a defensive squad as Golding is known for defense. Barnes is their only guy from the portal, but they also got Ahmad Bynum from JUCO, formerly DePaul. I think he was like a four-star recruit back in the day.
Hmm,
He's intriguing. Top 20 JUCO prospect now.
interesting.
He could be pretty good. Um, but besides that, not this team actually could be kind of good. Like I see a
Would be
world where this
if
team
they
is
were
good.
coached by someone else, I'd be excited.
Golding's
It's
a
just
Golding's a good coach, so like
his
he,
teams are just so boring. You know what they're going to be, right? Like
he
offensively, They are one of the toughest
Yeah.
teams ever.
But he's always so good defensively.
They are, you know, they play in the 50s, they play in the 60s. That's how they roll.
They were actually like kind of fast last year. They just
Interesting.
like were so bad offensively. But like
Yeah,
they
I think
forced
due to
so many
Hardy,
turnover.
when
They're at
Hardy
like
was out of the game, you know, they really did struggle, or maybe
yeah.
in foul trouble or something
They're
like
at opposite ends of the spectrum in turnovers. They turn the ball over a ton, but they force a lot of turnovers.
that. That does
Um,
some sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that is kind of goaling style. Definitely a tough team. With
They're
just
not a
like
team you
the
like to
intensity
play.
they play.
You see them on the schedule at UTEP. Oh no, you're not looking forward to that game, no matter how good or bad they are. They're one of those teams.
Yeah. But,
Just
Like I
start
don't
slowly.
I don't love this team, but like I see a world where this team can be like pretty good if like
They
Barnes is
could
able
be.
to bring over his like offensive and like if him and Bynum can be like a solid backcourt duo that's like kind of
They're a team that does
revitalizes
tend to kind of
offense.
overperform
They
too.
got the breakout. They got sophomores with Elijah Jones, David Terrell.
Mhm.
Um, maybe Mbengue is able to like be that post presence. Otis Frazier, another really good defender, not terrible offensively. Like I think there's enough to like talk yourself into here.
There is.
But again, I think they're just like a step below like the top tier.
Yeah, talent wise, yeah.
But I could talk myself into this team for sure. The
Okay.
more I look at it, they're going to be really good defensively. If the offense can click, this team could be pretty good. If it doesn't, it'll just be like solid, tough out, but maybe not like that good. Um,
Right.
yeah, really interested to see how Barnes and Bynum works out though, like because that could be good if it does. Moving on to our next team is Liberty. I have the Flames in third.
Interesting. You know, I flip-flopped them back and forth. I originally had them fourth. I'm gonna give Richard McKay a chance to put them on after all the slandering I've done today of Liberty over the airwaves.
Yes,
You
we
know
were
what?
having some yeah.
They have a lot of talent, a lot more talent than they've had in a while, especially like depth wise. Like they're usually not really a deep team ever.
Yes.
So
They
that has me
have
excited.
they have athletes now. Isaiah
Even
Enan
that's a
is an
thing.
athlete.
They
Owen
haven't had
Aquino is an
athletes.
athlete. I
Um,
mean, Peter and Mommer, two D
I feel
two
like
guards.
McKay has finally, you know, he's taken a look at himself in the mirror a little bit about his recruiting approaches, starting to target different kinds of players. I see that with this class. You know, I see more
Yes,
size, I
yes,
see more
yes.
athletes. Like this is not something I've really ever seen at Liberty. So I'm like, I'm really happy that he's doing that.
Mm,
Because that should help them get over the hedge of, you know, missing out on the tournament, team that should have made it, but you know, ended up falling short because I think, you know, just the lack of athleticism, lack of other scoring options. And I feel like they have more of that this year. Like there's a lot to be
hmm
excited about.
I'm very excited about his team. Obviously, you have them a little bit higher than I do, but as I mentioned, this the top of the conference is so close. And yeah, like Liberty, they really struggled last year after losing McGee, kind of struggled to find much of an identity. But I think McKay really hit the portal, really hit the D2, really got players from everywhere.
Mhm.
Got Talon Peter, as we've talked about extensively, and Javon Mommer, who put up about the same numbers as Peter, 20 points per game, 40% from three, from Cedarville. So another guy that could
I'm
like
about to
like
say
Peter could
he
be like
falls
the
in the
seventh
hole.
man,
He
or he
could
could be
be,
conference player of the year.
right. You just
Like
don't
it's
know.
crazy. But yeah, Enan, if he's healthy, gives him a real athlete down low, has been impactful for
If you pick a
Minnesota.
Liberty player besides like Matheny to be all conference, you're taking a gamble. Like, you know, you just don't know where the minutes are going to
Well,
be from
Cleveland's gonna be all
a
conference,
Cleveland. Yeah.
but
Besides those
probably,
two,
I think.
like everyone else's minutes, I have no idea what they're going to look
But like
like.
any of these guys could, like Josh Smith had definitely had some times where he's been really good at Stetson.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, he knows number 6 junior college prospect, so that's definitely something to be excited about.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of pieces like I have no clue what the starting lineup's going to look like. Curtis Blair is
Zero.
third.
It's
Redshirt
another guy.
freshman, another name to watch out for. So
Gates
yeah,
was pretty solid last year too. Like he wasn't terrible.
he didn't play a ton, but
That's true. It was after I got to
another kind of another stretch big that they have in
and
the
his
arsenal.
son's back. Gabriel McKay, I think, has another year.
Yeah, he does.
Fifth or sixth
He
year.
he he does he does have eligibility. Um, but yeah, this team has a lot of weapons. I think this is a bounce back year for Liberty.
I agree. I hope they can break through because it'll be a really fun watch if you know, if these players on paper pan out to what they can be at least.
Yes. Moving on to next team, Western Kentucky. I have them sixth,
Yeah, I got them fifth. Um, mhm.
but like they could be really good.
It could be.
Like
I just got to
like
see how this new coach is too. I think it's part of
yeah.
it. I got to see how
He and he
Murphy's
he he
is.
was a really good coach at the junior college level, so I'm not
That's
really
true.
like
You should
too
translate
concerned,
from really,
too
but
concerned, especially with him being on the staff last year. I think, um, yeah, I think Murdoch's if Murdoch's is healthy, like that's definitely intriguing.
it's true.
Um, because he was a really good point guard, really solid defensive player at Texas A&M Corpus Christi under Lutz. And he decided to stick around at Western Kentucky. So yeah, missed last year due to injury, but yeah, he's obviously there. McHenry's back. Um, Tyrone Marshall, another guy that could take a jump. Um, Christian Lander's still there.
Oh,
He wasn't bad last year. His whole career has just been such a disappointment, though.
that's an understatement.
He's why you don't reclass if you're a point guard, like,
Yeah.
but he's a fine Conference USA player in this day and age.
Hmm.
They got a few transfers, more of just like complementary pieces, which I kind of like. They got Braxton Bayless, who I believe
Nice.
has an Indian Hills connection. Um, solid uh point guard at Niagara should be a solid backup on this team. They got Blase Keita from Nebraska, dominant big man defensively, not so much offensive game. Leroy Odiahi, another guy with a similar play style. Yeah, really big guy, but definitely not the guy you're looking for offensive production.
Yeah.
But
Even
yeah,
Bayless is not really an offensive guy.
yes. But yeah, definitely still an intriguing team. Tegan Moore, sophomore, could maybe see a breakout. Kate Unsold, freshman, could be a name to look out for as well. But yeah, what are your thoughts about this team? Jalen Jackson, another guy coming back who I
Yeah.
haven't mentioned.
Not a ton of excitement really. I don't know. They're not that exciting to me. Um, just gotta really see what Murdoch's looks like, honestly. I think that's
Yeah,
the biggest X factor for me, at least.
yeah, yeah. I would agree. I'm not like over the moon for them, but they made the tournament and they have their best player from that team coming back despite not having the coach
Yeah.
back. Fastest team in the country last year. Um, didn't really translate into like good offense, but like they played really fast. Um, Solid defensive team now, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we will see. Definitely, I don't know. I'm not really sure what my thoughts are on Western
Yeah,
Kentucky.
I'm not either.
I'll have to
Right.
see. I'll have to see. They should be pretty good. Murdoch's determines a lot for me
Yeah, same.
because I don't know how healthy he's going to be.
If
Next
he's
up,
not, it could be pretty bad for them. I will be honest.
yeah, because their other point guard is Jalen Jackson, who was like hurt last year too, and who's not great.
Right.
Unless Bayless should probably start over Jackson, but who knows? Anyway, next up we have Louisiana Tech, who I have as my first place team in Conference USA.
Okay, I like it. I went back and forth with them. I have them at three.
Okay,
Um,
I respect that.
I
Crawford is a
think,
big loss. He was so
yeah,
good, but at the same time, I still liked his roster enough. Still liked the team enough. But Crawford was so good. I wish he would have
he
came back because
was.
I
I
think
think
he,
they're gonna miss that post creation. Bacho, while good, he does a lot of his damage off of rebounds. You
yeah,
know,
definitely not a guy that you just like go to get buckets. Although he does
I think
score a
they're just
solid
going to
amount
be
of points.
missing another offensive option. You know, there's going to be Abram. Outside of that, you're going to need another guy to step up. Um, there
I
are certain candidates here
think
that can.
Elkington. It's got to be Elkington, right?
Yeah, I
Maybe.
mean, he's the guy that, I probably glanced over a little bit, but he's definitely, one of the guys that you think can do it. Yeah,
They also have like William Jeffers, who,
I like him. I don't think he's that bad. I mean,
yeah, I think he
he
should be
didn't
a
get a lot of minutes ever.
solid athlete at least.
Yeah.
Another
Um,
guy, Caden Cooper, is a really good athlete, but
mhm.
another guy that I'm still questioning his basketball skills, but I think he
You
was a
still have
good
Devin
pickup.
Reed. Devin Reed was pretty good in limited minutes last year. I mean, 15 minutes a game. He had 6 points a game. Good
Yeah.
efficiency. I don't know what his minutes will look like. Will he play over guys like Jeffress? And could, honestly. Um, we gotta see how Elkington looks like too. He'll be competing with Elkington. Um,
hmm
so yeah, I need to see what that second scoring option looks like. That's really why I had them at three.
Yeah. Sean Newman, good point guard though. Good
Oh,
pure
yeah,
point guard. Al Green, I guess we'll see how good he is. Top 25 junior college prospect though, so see
interesting.
if he can
Okay.
step up. I will say, looking at this roster again, the shooting does not look great.
No, I mean the thing is about a lot of Conference USA though, there's not a lot of shooting, so that they do have that going for
But
them.
Chavez was such a good shooter last year,
He was. That is
and
the
he's not
thing.
back. Let's
Yeah.
see. I'm trying to. Yeah, not. I'm a little concerned about this team, but like, they sh it's so. I don't love any Conference USA teams on the national level, but like
Yeah, not really.
these all are like they're all like kind of fun in the conference.
Sure,
Um,
sure. There's enough to
I-
be excited about. I don't think any of
yes,
them are top 100, but
I would agree with that statement. But yeah, I mean, this is still should be a solid team. Abram, if he's what we think he could be with Bacho, Newman is a can get the ball to anyone. Um, Cooper definitely in breakout. You got like Landon Blocker, as I mentioned. Jordan Crawford, another piece that was there last year. Got I mean, this should be a solid defensive team, I think.
oh, definitely.
Even though they lost Crawford, who was such like so good
Oh, yeah.
everywhere defensively. Like I think the pieces are still absolutely there for this to be a good defensive team. Um, so you got that. Last team, Sam Houston State, wrapping up the preview. I have them second.
I have them too as well. Yeah.
Yeah, like they won the conference regular season last year. You never really knew that they were that good until you just like they just like won the conference regular
They
season.
looked
I feel
really good
like
in non-con too. Like they gave Ole
were
Miss a
they?
game. I remember what
Well,
Ole Miss almost lost to them.
everyone gave Ole Miss a game
That's
in
true.
non-con last year.
They gave a couple other
Detroit
games.
Mercy gave Ole Miss a
Oh
game
my
in
gosh, I
non-con
forgot
last
about
year.
that game.
They didn't win a game until like February.
And they lost. It was at home at Ole Miss too. I mean, that was a bad
Yeah.
game. Um, that
Yeah.
still, like, he came out of nowhere. I thought they were fluky, and they were really good.
But no, yeah. Sam Houston really turned it on in conference play.
They
Was
have a
not able
culture.
to.
Yeah,
Yes. Even with the new coach Chris Mudge, who it's working out for him so well so
keep the
far.
cartoons thing
Definitely
going, you know,
yes, and yeah, and I like the roster as well.
for sure.
Getting
Asset class.
Wilkerson back was obviously huge. Losing Barnes, that's a somewhat significant loss, but I don't think it's really the end of the world.
No, I wouldn't say
Lost
so.
Suleiman Dombia inside, Jaden Ray, some other significant-ish losses, but I really do like the guys they brought in with
I agree.
Burns, Cleefus Sacco, from Utah State was a solid backup Mountain West big. His biggest issue is foul trouble,
Yeah,
but
constant. But he's another body just throw out there. I mean, that's what I think Sam Houston's really looking to do. They're looking to battle. They're looking to throw a ton of different bodies at you and wear you down. That's Sam Houston basketball. He's going to be another guy they can throw out there. Dorian Finister is another guy I think is quality pickup for
yeah,
them.
was probably
Um,
never Big 12 level player, but like I think
no,
at this level he can be solid.
I agree. Yeah,
Josiah Hammonds from Incarnate Word, he can shoot the ball.
sure.
That's
And any shooting in Conference USA is very valuable. There's not a lot of
yes,
teams to shoot.
yes. Kean Scroggins also he might. It's between him and Sacco for who starts center. We will see. But yeah, Damon Nicholas, solid returner. Cameron Huefner, another solid piece. I thought he was going to be a little bit better last year, but
Yeah,
also the team was just like he might have been. I don't know if he was ever hurt or just kind of disappointed. Yeah, he had some stretches where he was hurt a little bit, so I think he could be in for a little breakout. I believe I had him like all conference last year, and then if Boykin is able to kind of carry on that hot streak at the end of last year, another guy that can really
that
score.
too,
And yeah, a lot to like here. And
for
with the
sure. Well, not
way they
surprised if they
play,
win it again,
yes. Yeah,
or if they
they
don't win the conference, but then win the conference tourney. Like, I could see that. You know, so many different outcomes with this conference.
yeah. Yeah, definitely a team that's not like maybe doesn't stick out as much on paper as some of the other teams in the conference do, but
Sam
again,
Houston's never really going to be an eye popper, although I do like the roster
no.
this year more than most. Um,
Yeah.
but you know, that's how they're going to be until you actually see them in the flesh, see how they battle defensively, then you'll get to know like why they're good.
Yes. Another good defensive team. Conference USA is full of good defensive teams,
Always
in
has been.
fact.
That's why I always love Conference USA transfers because they're battle tested.
Yes, they are. So yeah, that that wraps up our Conference USA preview. Definitely an intriguing league. Definitely one I'll be watching just because all of these teams should be so close together. I'm interested to see who maybe becomes good and who maybe is gonna bust this year.
Yeah, if you're looking for a competitive league to watch, a league that plays both ends well, this is your league, honestly. Offensively, it can get ugly, but you know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
any major
definitely.
league, really.
Yes. But definitely a league that will have its fair share of good conference battles. So, yeah. But yeah, that wraps up our Conference USA preview. Not exactly sure what next conference will be, but we will keep you updated. So yeah, Conference USA, one preview done, 30 to go. And yeah, just a quick promo here. Appreciate everyone for tuning in to the first Hoop Scoop Media Conference preview. Found on YouTube. If you're watching us this there, I appreciate that. I would I also appreciate a subscribe, a like, comment, because then you will be notified, post notifications, and be notified about all the rest of the videos, which really helps us and really helps you stay notified about the conference previews. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. We will also be posting some conference preview content for maybe people that don't want to listen to the full thing and just want our all conference teams, which if you made it to this point, that probably doesn't
We got to get on the shorts
really
game on
not you.
YouTube and all that kind of stuff. I think this
Yes.
is the year for that.
Instagram Reels maybe.
Yeah.
Instagram Reels.
Every social media platform has the short form stuff
Reels is
now.
the best though. Reels is my favorite to watch.
I agree. I agree. I think Instagram Reels does a really good
The
job.
comments on Instagram Reels are the best.
There's
I'm not gonna go in depth there, but they're much funnier. They're much funnier than TikTok comments. I will.
oh, for
That's
sure.
not
I
even
agree
close.
on that.
But yeah. Comment if you want us to start posting Instagram Reels.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll just need someone to get on the editing of that and you know.
yes. But yeah, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter at Hoopscoop Media, all those platforms. And yeah, we will see you for the next conference preview. As you mentioned, we don't know what it'll be, but it will be shortly as we don't have that many more days in conferences. So yeah, stay tuned and we will see you next time.